UFC 310 is upon us, and this is a pretty great card, if I must say so myself. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the UFC Dana might have seen my video. I'm just kidding. It was already announced beforehand, but there are no female fights on this card. We all remember last time that happened, UFC 308, and it was a fucking banger of a card. So I hope everybody is excited as I am to watch this one. It should be great. Lots of great fights stacked top to bottom. So without further ado, thank you guys for getting me up to 20 subs. I will be dropping my picks and parlays for this weekend. All my bets will be there for you guys to see. So tune in for that. Like I said, Thursday, Friday. Should be coming out around then whenever the props drop. But without further ado, let's get into the early prelim opener of Kennedy Nizinchukwu versus Lucas Bresky. Kennedy Nizinchukwu should just win this fight here. I mean, I don't think he looked that great against the bowling ball Chris Barnett, but at the end of the day, Lucas Bresky sucks. Kennedy also sucks, I'm not going to lie, but he's had some decent wins, so it's hard not to go with him. Lucas Bresky's very simple, very basic, and I just think Kennedy Nizinchukwu is a bit more athletic and should get the job done. I don't know if I'm crazy about the minus 600 odds, but I think it's going to be someone that is pretty decent to beat Kennedy, so I'm not going to spend too much time on that matchup. Next up, we've got Clay Guida versus Chase Hooper. Wow. Another sick fight. Okay, these two bottom fights kind of suck, but at least we get to see Chase Hooper in action. I do enjoy his fight style. He looks like he's like 17. Other than that, he's actually pretty good. Clay Guida's way over the hill. He's an old guy. This should just be a steamroll. Chase Hooper should get a finish here. Clay Guida isn't easy to finish, but I think Chase Hooper will find a grappling position, a grappling exchange in which he can slip over to the back or find some tricky submission. This guy's really sick with his jiu-jitsu. So, yeah, another easy one. Not going to spend too much time on this. It's pretty much a no-brainer, these first two. Chase Hooper is going to be the pick. Okay, now we get into a fight where it's a bit of a toss-up, a bit of a coin flip. Michael Chiesa versus Max Griffin. It's kind of tough to say. Max Griffin's old, over the hill, as is Michael Chiesa. Michael Chiesa sucks. He's scared to get hit. Max Griffin has a bit of power, so I definitely, like I said, this one is a fight that I wouldn't bet on personally or have any stakes on unless you're looking at props. But I think Michael Chiesa is just going to be able to bully him in there. I think, I've seen him execute his game plan of grappling too many times and be successful with it. And I've seen Max Griffin also get bullied in the grappling department. So I think it's pretty much a no-brainer. I'm going to go with Michael Chiesa here. It's not a no-brainer. Max Griffin could easily land the better shots and evade the takedowns, especially if he garners that respect on the feet. But I just don't think a 40-year-old Max Griffin, and he might even be older than that, I just don't think he is going to be able to garner that respect. Michael Chiesa's developed a good game plan of just moving around, avoiding striking, and finding his opportunity to get the takedown or back take. I think he could even get a sub this fight. So I'm going to go with Michael Chiesa. I think the finishing potential is on his side, and I do think he gets beat on the feet, but I think the finishing potential is on the Michael Chiesa side. Okay, next up, finally, this is a good fight on the card, really good fight. We're starting to get to the good ones now. Cody Durden versus Joshua Van. I love me some Joshua Van. I think everybody does. He's got super fun boxing style. When you see guys like, what's his name? JDM and Joshua Van, these guys that rip to the body and throw these long boxing combinations and just look wicked with their hands. They're super fun. It's just, Joshua Van has already been fraud checked. We already know he's too tiny. And I will just say Cody Durden against a guy with a similar frame to Joshua Van against Bruno Silva looked amazing. He looked super slick. It looks like his striking has gotten tenfold better. Uh, he's going to have the advantage in the wrestling department as well. So I just think Cody Durden's too slick. I think he's got high fight IQ. I think Joshua Van doesn't really have the highest fight IQ. I think he's young, he's green, and I think a guy like Cody Durden, who's really entering his prime now and starting to put everything together, is going to have the advantage here. I think, to be honest, I know people are thinking, it's only going to be Cody Durden's grappling or wrestling that's going to put him ahead, and he might get dominated on the feet or whatever, but I honestly think Cody Durden dominates him everywhere. I think he whoops his ass on the feet, to be honest. I think he's fluid. He moves well. He's got a strong jab. He mixes it up well. He uses his kicks effectively. He's a complete fighter, Cody Durden. So I know a lot of people are still on that Joshua Van hype train, but man, I'm just, Edgar Chairez, I don't think is that good. I think he's like a clunky, retarded Alex Pereira with little chicken legs. And the fact that he was giving Joshua Van, almost finishing him at points and giving him that hard of a fight, I don't like that at all. I think Cody Durden's the pick here. I think he's going to get a like a 29-28, something like that. I could even see a 30-27 for Cody Durden. I really do think he's actually talented. And I think Joshua Van is talented. I just think it's going to take time for him to build into the weight class. And I don't know. I just don't like any of the situation with Joshua Van. Just getting knocked out not too long ago, rushing back into camp after camp, training and training. Cody Durden's going to be the pick here. I feel pretty good about that too. Okay, ending the early prelims, we've got Chris Weidman versus Eric Anders. Already broken down this fight. I think Chris Weidman's just going to have the better striking. I think he's going to have more for the judges to judge. He has higher volume, throws more kicks. I don't want to see the body kick as much because I think that's going to be a chance for Eric Anders to smudge him up against the fence and hit the cheese grater. But other than that, I think Chris Weidman is better in most places. The only place he's going to really have that disadvantage, I think, is going to be cage grappling. But I think Chris Weidman, I feel pretty comfortable about it. I know that last video I talked, I wasn't feeling that comfortable with it, but the more I kind of think about the matchup, I do feel good about Chris Weidman. So just gonna go with that. Not gonna get too much into it. I've already broken that fight down. Next up, a sick fight. I do have a controversial opinion on this. Randy Brown versus Bryan Battle. Controversial opinion coming. I don't think Bryan Battle is that good. I'm just gonna say it. I know everybody's on this big hype train about Bryan Battle, bro. You beat Kevin Jousset. Kevin Jousset fucking sucks. This isn't Kevin Jousset. This isn't, I can't think of the names off the top of my head. I'm trying to go, go, go. There's no script. There's nothing pulled up on my screen other than the page itself. I just don't think I see Bryan Battle fight, and the type of fighter that he looks like he's going to succeed against are the Kevin Joussets, the guys that are kind of, standing there, sitting in the pocket with him and pocket boxing and doing that type of thing. I just don't think Randy Brown's that guy, and I don't think Bryan Battle has ever fought in a guy like this. A guy that's going to move around, evade, avoid pocket boxing, avoid long extended combinations. A guy that's going to just look to dart in and throw a very fast shot. I think Randy Brown's going to have the speed advantage. He's going to have the power advantage. He won't have the grappling advantage. There is a world where Bryan Battle does turn this into a boring fight and win. And I think that really is one of his main paths to victory, or breaking Randy Brown by the third round. But I could easily see a position where we're coming into round three and Randy Brown's up 2 rounds and has already knocked down Bryan Battle once. I'm just saying, I think a lot of people are underrating Randy Brown here. Like I said, I think I give him the finishing potential in the fight, on the feet, on the ground, obviously Bryan Battle, but I don't think Randy Brown's a complete slouch on the ground either. So I just see him getting better and better. And Randy Brown's 33. He's had a lot of fights under his belt now. He's coming into his prime. I don't like it for Bryan Battle. I could see a bit of a fraud check happening here, and I could see people start to say, Randy Brown might be that guy, man. So I could see him getting a finish here. I could see him just rocking Bryan Battle all over the place. Like I said, Bryan Battle's head movement, his striking, none of it's ever really impressed me. The guys he's done good against are guys that are rushing at him, running at him, throwing extended combinations, and he finds that shot. And or the Kevin Joussets that are just standing there, sitting in the pocket, just waiting to get hit, not evading, moving around. Randy Brown's gonna be moving around that cage, getting away from that danger, that close quarter combat. He's gonna be engaging when he wants to. He's gonna be setting up the slow Bryan Battle who walks at you like a zombie, lacking footwork, lacking a lot of head movement. I just don't love that. I think this is a bad matchup for Bryan Battle. I don't think he's that good. So if he beats Randy Brown here, I'll start to give him his flowers. But until then, I'm going to go with Randy Brown here. Next up, we've got Movsar Evloev versus Aljamain Sterling. It's a pretty cool fight. I tune in, like I said, Thursday, Friday. I think there's going to be a lot of positions, like there is every week, for takedown lines. I think this is going to be a weird takedown line, this fight. So I could see it being predominantly a striking battle, and I think if anybody is going to be getting the takedowns, it's going to be Movsar. I could definitely see Aljamain shooting because he gets in trouble in the striking. I think Movsar is going to be a bit better in the striking department. I think he's going to be better in the wrestling department. Yeah, I mean, how else do you want me to break this fight down? I think he's going to be better up against the cage. I think he's going to be better in the striking. I think he's going to be better in the grappling. How does he lose? I don't know. You tell me. I'm gonna go with Masvar Evelev to beat Aljamain Sterling via unanimous decision. I think it's pretty cut and dry there. Next up, we've got brain hemorrhage Vicente Luque. All jokes aside, though, that's fucked. I do feel bad for the guy. Versus Themba Gorimbo. Um, Vicente, there was an idea of Vicente Luque, like there was an idea of Rome if you watch Gladiator 2, but I just don't think it's there right now. I would love to see a comeback for him, but to be honest, the way I see this matchup going, I don't think I've heard anybody talk about it like this, but we've already seen Vicente Luque look for ways out of fights and look to quit. And I don't think this is going to be any different. I think this is actually a tailor-made perfect matchup for him because I think he's going to feel the power of Themba on the feet, and he is going to opt to take that clinch and get stuffed up against the fence for the rest of the fight. And I think he'll be perfectly happy staying there, not getting finished. I think this could look very similar to the Ramiz Brahimaj versus Themba Gorimbo fight because I think it's not necessarily that the skill matchup should equate to that, but I think it's the mindset that's going to equate to that from Vicente Luque and the mindset from Themba. Themba's perfectly fine with winning a decision by just holding somebody up against the fence, landing a couple of foot stomps, a couple of little punches to the body, little, that type of stuff. And I think Vicente Luque is perfectly happy with losing that way and not, having a brain bleed in the octagon. So I think it's perfect for him. I think he'll go in there, he'll lose a close decision, a fight where he'll be able to keep his head high and not be embarrassed by losing. I got held up against the fence. What do you want me to do? A tough fight. It was a tough fight. He was strong. He was a lot stronger than I thought. That's what I could see this kind of being. I don't think it's going to be fireworks. I think if there is going to be a knockout, it'll be by Themba Gorimbo. And but like I said, I don't think that'll be the case. I think this goes to decision, boring decision. I think you can plus 3.5 either guy and you'd be okay. But my money's going to be on Themba Gorimbo. I think this is a pretty bettable fight. I think Vicente Luque is done. I think this is a perfect matchup for him to just kind of fall off the radar and slip into irrelevancy. So yeah, unfortunate though. Next up, we've got Dominic Reyes versus the king on paper, Anthony Smith. Obviously, on paper, Anthony Smith wins this fight. And what's funny enough about it is actually on paper he does win this fight. If you go and just look up their records and their Tapology, he's done better against fights where Dominic Reyes hasn't done good. The only fight that Dominic Reyes did better than Anthony Smith in was the John Jones fight, which arguably Anthony Smith won because he ate an illegal knee. Illegal knee, and he technically won that fight. So yeah, Anthony Smith is the better fighter on paper. Now, all jokes aside, though, I'm actually kind of worried for Dominic Reyes. Not entirely. I don't think Anthony Smith's a big power puncher, but I see people, put the house on Reyes. I don't know, man. I just don't trust Reyes anymore. I know he had a good win against Dustin Jacoby, and that was very solid. And Jacoby's a good fighter. I think Jacoby whoops Anthony Smith's ass most likely too. So, the pick is going to be Dominic Reyes. Eye test alone, he should be the better fighter as well. Should have the power advantage. Should have the IQ advantage. Anthony Smith is just riddled with CTE at this point. He's over the hill. I think he's 36. Reyes is still kind of approaching his prime. I'd like to see Reyes win this fight, and I think he could come back and maybe make a title run. Not necessarily a title run, but, make it back up into the top 10 comfortably. Yeah, I'm going to go with Dominic Reyes. I do feel pretty good about it, but at the same time, I'm just like, how could you trust either of these guys with money on them? I might end up doing it, but I feel like I'll end up regretting my decision. Anyways, getting into the main event, finally. I guess I know why this fight's on there, but this one's a pretty sick one. Nate Landwehr, the Tennessee native, versus Doo Ho Choi. I don't know if he's a Tennessee, I'm pretty sure he is. But yeah, I love me some Nate Landwehr. I think we all do. I just, unfortunately, guys, he's 36. I know everybody loves to be, that's Nate Landwehr gets a power up when he gets knocked down and he almost gets knocked unconscious. And the second he tastes blood, that's when he starts to fight. I love the narrative, guys. It's sick. It's like a comic book character. But at some point, we have to say, okay, he's versing another fighter who is only good basically in round one, who turns it up round one. Nate Landwehr gets hurt in round one. We know he comes back from this type of stuff, but guys, he's 36 at this point. He's taken plenty of damage. He doesn't have clean fights. Not often does he have clean fights. He had one clean fight against Jamal Emmers, which if you can call that clean, you're crazy because he still got his ass whooped. This guy takes damage every fight he's in, and I don't see how it's going to be any different against somebody who comes out as crisp, as strong, as powerful as Doo Ho Choi. Listen, I'm a Tennessee native myself. I love Nate Landwehr, man. I just don't. I want to pick him here too, and I really want to ride with the boy, but I don't feel good about this fight, guys. I'm gonna be real. I've got some stinky feeling. I'm just looking at Doo Ho Choi, and it's like, how could somebody like Nate the Train Landwehr, some American Steel Landwehr, go and lose to some like kind of gay Doo Ho Choi? I mean, go look at the way he stands before fights. Like his legs are kind of crossing, and he's kind of got this little like flamboyant like. I don't know, bro. He shouldn't lose. Like he, fuck. Nate Landwehr's getting knocked out. It's tough to just say it. It's tough to get it out of my system. But yeah, Nate Landwehr's getting knocked out. I don't think he's going to recover. I think he's going to get dropped, and I think he's going to get ground and pounded. He's 36. At some point, we're going to see that chin crack for good, and the recoveries are not going to be the same. Those fighting styles don't last forever. They're fun while they are. I remember once upon a time everybody talking about Max Holloway's impossible to knock out and Justin Gaethje's impossible to knock out, and I've said all these things. I've predicted it. Chins crack, and I don't think this is any different. I think Nate Landwehr's in for a rude awakening. I think this is Doo Ho Choi. He took a 3-loss losing streak, and I think it's time for him to make a little bit of a resurgence. He's coming into his prime. Nate Landwehr's falling out of his prime. I think Doo Ho Choi is going to look really good in this fight. I think Nate Landwehr is going to get his ass handed to him. I don't want to see it. I hope Nate Landwehr wins. I hope he proves me wrong. But yeah, that's going to probably be the unfortunate reality of the situation. Okay, next up, let's get off that. Bryce Mitchell versus Kron Gracie. I hate this matchup too. I'm glad I won't see Bryce Mitchell get flatlined again. I just watched the Embedded, and Bryce Mitchell kind of looked like he was still had nerve damage when he was hitting the pads, running around the mountains. He just kind of looked very, I don't know, like very quirky, like very like I don't know how to describe it. It's just something felt off about it. But if he loses to Kron Gracie, I think it's fair to say that we just cut him. He shouldn't lose to Kron Gracie, but I do hate the fact that fighting is a stylistic thing, and you're having a wrestler play into the guy who literally can only fight from guard and only fight from a scramble position and lock up a submission. You have a guy playing exactly into that game plan. I really hope Bryce Mitchell doesn't even fuck around on the ground with him at all and just strikes. But after that last knockout, I think he might be horrified. I'm just saying, don't put a penny on this shit, guys. The odds are blown out of the water. And I don't know if I can trust Bryce Mitchell. I need to see him look good again before I can ever consider him to beat somebody again. I mean, obviously he's going to win this fight, right? I hope. But like I said, stay far away from this. There's no value anywhere on that shit. No value anywhere. You're destined to lose money. Don't even put him in a parlay. Stay away from the fight. Kron Gracie could easily lock up some random sub. And we've seen Bryce Mitchell kind of quit before against Ilya Tapiria. We've seen him kind of get ragdolled around. We've seen him give up an easy triangle. I'm not saying he didn't get his ass kicked before that and he was sick and whatever. I'm just saying I've seen Bryce Mitchell look terrible before, and I'm not going to put it past him to come off the worst loss of his career and look terrible again. So I'm picking Bryce Mitchell because how could you pick otherwise, but stay away from that one. Okay, next up we have the co-main event. No, we don't. We have the feature fight. A sick feature fight. At least we won't get any grappling, I think. I could always see Ciryl Gane getting a takedown, but it'd be foolish to do so. I think Ciryl Gane should... by the way, Ciryl Gane versus Alexander Volkov. Yeah, I don't know if I said that, but... Yeah, Ciryl Gane should go in there. Volkov's coming off a knee surgery. They had to postpone the fight because of it. We already seen the first fight. Lots of knee stomps, leg kicks, and I think that plan is going to be implemented even more. This is a perfect fight for Ciryl Gane. I'm just going to go ahead and break it to you guys. He's never losing a stand-up fight. If he fights Tom Aspinall and Tom Aspinall wants to strike with him, he will knock out Tom Aspinall. If they were just not allowed to grapple, he would beat Tom Aspinall. I don't know about knockout, but he would definitely beat Tom Aspinall. There's no way anybody in the heavyweight division beats Cyril Gane in a striking fight, and that's all Alexander Volkov can do. He's getting older. Let me just see how old. I don't know off the top of my head. Yeah, he's 36. Yeah, this is one I could see a finish. I'm just gonna be real. I see a finish. I think Volkov gets finished here. We've seen him chin before. I do think Strogan will just land the better shots, but I just don't think. I think he'll be a bit more explosive. He'll be a bit less caring. Knowing that it's a 3 round fight and he doesn't have to conserve as much energy. He might put a little bit more into those shots, but even if not, he leg kicks him to a 30-27. It's going to be a leg kick battle. We've already seen this fight. Cyril Gane, nothing has changed. If not, Cyril Gane is just aged less than Volkov has in a way. I mean, not aged less, but he's younger, so Volkov's gonna be falling more out of his prime. Just had a surgery at 35, 36. I mean, not looking good for Volkov. Cyril Gane's an easy pick. Definitely be one of the safer parlay pieces. Fuck sakes. So yeah, Cyril Gane. I don't need to break that one down too much. I could definitely see a finish though. Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Ian Machado Gary. Ooh, I really want to be the guy to pick Ian Gary. The only reason I'm not is because it's a 5 round fight. You know which fight this is going to look, I think, eerily similar to? I think this is going to look similar to the Israel Adesanya versus Dricus Du Plessis fight. I think Israel will be having, not Israel, fucking Ian will be having his moments. He'll be out striking Rakhmonov. I think Rakhmonov's like grossly overrated. I don't think he's that good. I think he's very gritty, and I think he's got a blockhead. And I don't think his grappling's that good. I think Ian Gary's going to be kind of dog walking him, if you want my honest opinion. I think the story of it is going to be Rakhmonov has to take 2 to 3 to give 1. And I think Ian Gary's going to be up on the scorecards through the first 2 rounds. And I think, we still see some more of that, but it's just like Ian Gary keeps hitting him with the whole kitchen sink, and Rakhmonov's still there, still pressuring, still pushing him up. Eventually gets him against the fence, and Ian Gary tries to circle away, and as he's circling away, Rakhmonov lands a looping shot as he's circling away, and the whole tide of the fight changes. I could see him, maybe tripping, falling, something. I don't know. He gets the back. Like I said, it looks similar to the Dricus Israel fight, but I do think Ian Gary's the better striker. I am scared to put money on this fight. I don't think this fight goes to the decision. If it does, Ian Gary 100% wins the fight. But I could see the way I would play this one, and I'll just tell you this one because I don't think I'll be parlaying too much about this fight, because I don't think there's much value anywhere. I think Ian Gary could easily win. I could even see Ian Gary knocking out Shavkat, which kind of sounds crazy, but I can see it. But it's just too unknown of a fight. So the way I would play this one, hold off, don't have any money on this fight. Okay, maybe have a parlay leading up to it that will pay out right before this fight. Let Ian Gary start whooping Shavkat's ass in the first 2 rounds. Let the odds flip. Then take maybe half of your payout that you had on your last parlay and throw it onto Shavkat once the odds get right about even. And I think you will just be able to find a quick little double up there. But I think Shavkat does win in rounds, late round 3 or early round 4, late round 4, something like that. I don't think it gets to the 5th. So yeah, that's going to be my prediction for that one. I do think Shavkat wins, but I would not be shocked at all if Ian Gary sleeps him. Wouldn't be shocked. Shavkat's already taken a ton of damage, and yeah. Okay, Alexandre Pantoja versus Kaya Sakura. I did do the research on Kaya Sakura. I did. I mean, we all know how this goes. It's pretty simple. Kaya Sakura can get that random big moment and end the fight off of it. Pantoja's taken a ton of damage in his career. How old is Pantoja? Fuck. Don't tell me he's like 36 or something. Okay, he's 34. He's okay. I think he's okay. I I don't know, man. I feel weird about it though, cause it's just like, can everybody else just see this guy coming to the UFC and just getting a flatline finish and then falling off after? I don't know, man. It's what the UFC wants, and I rarely try to go against what the UFC wants. Usually, you're going to be on the better. the better side of that if you're going with the UFC and what is best for their company, which Kaya Sakura is way better for their company. I feel like I should be breaking down the fight, but it's like we all know what happens. Pantoja grapple fucks him, and Kai needs to land a big shot, like a big flying knee or something like that. I don't know. I mean, obviously, skill for skill, I think Pantoja's the better fighter, but man, he's sloppy on the feet. He's sloppy on the feet. I have to go with grappling. I'm gonna go with Pantoja. I don't love it though. I don't know. I have some weird feeling about this. I'll definitely have money on Kaya Sakura. I think this is pretty free though. Like theoretically, this should just be the easiest fight of Pantoja's career. Like theoretically speaking, it should be the easiest fight. But I don't know, man. Something just feels off about this. Like something doesn't feel normal. Like it doesn't feel like a Pantoja fight where I'm just like, Pantoja's gonna go in there, he'll eat some big shots, but he'll end up winning the fight. Like I don't feel any nerves. Like this is the one matchup where I'm like, dude, I don't feel good about this, man. I would love to see Pantoja get knocked out. I probably won't be running him in any parlays because I wouldn't want that to spoil the fun of watching that dude get slept. I kind of dislike Pantoja. I do like his grappling. I think it's fun sometimes. Like he has some good scrambles, but other than that, man, I'm nervous for this fight, man. I'm like actually nervous. I think Pantoja might get slept. There's a good chance. It just something feels off, bro. Something's in the air. I'll get back to you guys on Friday. I'm gonna look at a little bit more tape and see, slow it down to the .25 speed. Really get with the beakers and test tubes. Put on the science goggles and go further in depth. Because I think when I researched Kaya Sakura, I was a little under the influence of alcohol, and I initial impression I was like he's gonna get dog walked, but I don't know. Who knows? So I'm gonna get back to you guys. I am picking Pantoja right now, but if my mind changes and I find something else, I'll let you guys know. But yeah, that's gonna be it for now, guys. Tune back in Friday, like I said. Put on the post notifications or just anticipate. Like I said, Friday I'm gonna try to get that. Once you guys see the props are dropped on DraftKings, I'm gonna be working on that video. I'm gonna be working on crafting the parlays and so if that comes out Thursday, if the takedown lines come out Thursday, it's coming out Thursday. But just be prepared for a last second video Friday, like I did. You'll be able to catch it Saturday. The card's not early, so at worst case scenario, you'll be able to catch it Friday night or Saturday during the day. Just make sure you tune in. I'm gonna really put some effort into it and try to help everybody make some money. I do appreciate the 20 subs. Like I said, guys, help me out. More you guys sub, the more I feel inclined to help out. So help me out. Scratch my back, I'll scratch yours type. So anyways, guys, have a great rest of your day. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you if you've been along for the ride for this long. And peace out.